Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video. Today we are going to be doing the September TBR. As you guys can probably tell, yes, I am sick, so please just ignore if my voice starts to go weird, croaky, if I just sound really nasally. I'm currently at the back end of some sinus infections. So yeah, like I was saying, we are going to be discussing all of the books that I've picked to read in the month of September. I have picked out 5 books from my physical TBR that I want to read, and then the 6th book that I want to read, I'm actually hoping to pick up at some point because the book did come out in August and I just haven't had a chance to go to the store to buy it. If you do enjoy this video, please give it a like and a thumbs up, and let's just get straight into all of the books that I want to read in September. This is just literally in the order that I've pulled it off and stacked the books in. So the first book that I want to read in the month of September is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This is the 3rd and final book in the Knock 'Em Out a series, companion series. First book is Things We Never Got Over, and then the sequel is Things We Hide from the Light, which I did read in August, and it will be featured in my August reading wrap up coming next week. So I just thought, whilst I'm on the train of reading this series, let's just pick up the 3rd and final book. This is the one that I am the most excited about, just because it focuses on Sloane and Lucien. Literally from the first book, they were the 2 characters that I was the most drawn to, and as such I'm the most interested in reading their story and working out what their history is, because if you've read the series, you know that like from literally the second that they appear back in one another's lives, they've got a history. We sort of found out a little bit more of their history in the sequel, Things We Hide from the Light, but this one actually focuses on their story. So I just want to know like what happened, because they were teenagers and they were sort of dating. Like he was always the bad guy, she was a really good girl. She's now like a librarian and he's got his own like almost like intelligence company or something. He's really like, you know, into some dodgy stuff, but she has like a burning hatred for him, and I just really want to know what happened. And it's very obvious that he is so into her and is so mad when other men hit on her and stuff, and she's just all about antagonizing him, but gets really pissed off when he shows any sort of interest in caring about her. So this is basically just going to be telling their story, and then also kind of continuing on the common sort of plot line that's linked all of these 3 books. They obviously focus in the town called Knock 'Em Out. Our first book focused on Naomi and Knox. Naomi's sister's like gotten herself caught up in with this criminal son whose father is like the leader of a gang, and they're basically the FBI is trying to take him out. And then the second book focused on Knox's older or younger brother. I still don't know which one's the eldest, but it focuses on his brother Nash, who is the police chief in the town, who also got shot at the end of the first book. So we're dealing with his trauma, and then we're also focusing on one of Knox's really good friends. Her name is currently escaping me, but she's like a private investigator for like insurance companies. So like if really expensive, high valued items that have been insured go missing, it's her job to track them down and find it. So she comes to town because they believe that the criminal gang activity that's going on in this town is responsible for stealing this high valued car that she's coming to find. And the plot line just kind of gets thicker and thicker until we're ending up with this book. So we're going to find out, I guess, what's going on with their history. They're also going to get together because there's all these epilogues in the last 2 books that prove that. I know something happens because she gets a scar on like her chin. It's pretty bad and they almost lose her. So we've kind of gotten some hints, but we don't know what's going on. But I just want to know what's going on in their love story. So I want to pick this up in September and just get it read, because then this will be a partially started book series on my shelf that I will no longer have. I'm really excited to have all of the books sitting together because it annoys me that they're split. And then the second book that I have chosen to read is The 5-Year Plan by Jodi Gibson. I do not remember a single thing about this book. I'm pretty sure I purchased this book because if I purchased it, I would get free shipping on a book order I was doing. And I just picked a book based off the cover. It's also not very thick. Yeah, it's like, it's 288 pages, hence why I've picked it. It's also really quite big font, but I don't actually know what it's about. I am planning on taking this one to when I go to Cairns. So in September, my partner and I are going away for a week to Cairns, and I kind of just want to take like a light, fluffy, kind of contemporary book. And I think this will be like a easy one for me to read because we're planning on doing like a lot of hiking and walking, and I just know I'm not gonna be able to deal with for fantasy, so I think this will be a nice easy one for me to read whilst we're there. But I'm gonna read the blurb and work out what's going on in this book. Okay, so the 5-year plan focuses on our main character, Demi. She is 33 and she's made herself a 5-year plan that is currently on track. So she's just moved in with her boyfriend, Will, and she's just waiting for her dad to retire so that she can inherit family's cafe and run it. Her 5-year plan kind of gets knocked out of whack when her father decides to retire, but instead give the cafe to her older brother, Nick, and not her. She then also finds out that Will's kind of lying to her and there's some secrets going on, so she makes the decision to go to Italy. I wonder if they're Italian? Yes. Sorry, so she travels to Italy to learn about her Italian heritage and mend her frayed heart, whilst also hoping that her father comes to his senses whilst she's away. So obviously she must be heartbroken about the boyfriend, I'd say, and then also heartbroken about not getting the cafe. So whilst she is in Italy, she makes a new friend, Leo, and obviously they're going to develop a little bit of a love interest and probably show her that having a 5-year plan's insanity. So look, it just sounds like it's going to be a really feel-good, fun, light, contemporary read, and I feel like that's going to be really good for when I go away on my vacation. And then the third book that I've picked up to read is the third and final book in one of the book series that is on my book series that I want to read in 2024, and that is Wings of Shadow by Nikki Powell Pareto. This cover is like epic. So I don't know if you can see. So we've got 2 phoenixes here, one red, one black, so it's evil. We then have a phoenix rider there, and then we have the main character. I'm presuming this is Veronica, and that's probably her sister Val. But it just looks really epic. I must say, I love these covers on this series. I am not going to read the blurb, and I'm not going to tell you what it's about because currently not picked up Heart of Flames, which is the second book in this series. So I don't know what's going on in this book series. I don't want to read the blurb because it's probably going to spoil me for Heart of Flames. So there's not much I can tell you except that we focus on a world that has Phoenix Riders. However, there was a blood war like 17 years prior. Phoenix Riders were like the kings and queens of society and they were really quite high up. War was instigated by 2 different sisters, but also I think the political parties surrounding them. One was a Phoenix Rider and one wasn't. And in order for you to be the king or the queen, you must be a Phoenix Rider. They have to keep that bloodline flowing. So they were both on opposing sides, but really loved one another. They both ended up dying, and then the government ends up taking over and just comes in and executes the Phoenixes and also the Phoenix Riders, and anyone that they find later on as being Phoenix Riders, they also take them out. They destroy the Phoenix eggs too, and then they're also really horrible to people who are called animages, because animages are people that are able to bond with animals, and that means they have the potential to become a Phoenix Rider because you have to be an animage to become a Phoenix Rider. So we now have 4 point of views in this book, so I wonder if we're going to get the 4 point of views in Hearts of Flame, but we obviously focus on Veronica and Val, who are the 2 sisters 17 years after this war. Veronica and Val are kind of on opposing sides at the moment because Veronica just wants to become a Phoenix Rider, where Val is a little bit evil. I'm not going to say stuff because I don't want to ruin everything. And Val currently doesn't have a Phoenix, but I think she gets one in Hearts of Flame and Wings of Shadow. This confirms it. We then focus on Tristan, who is in the first book, Crown of Feathers, a apprentice Phoenix Rider, but he kind of gets promoted. And then we also have Sev, who's an animage who was in the military. So we've kind of got 4 point of views going on. I'm interested to see the conclusion of this series. I did quite enjoy Crown of Feathers. I gave it 4 stars, and I just want to read this series. Like it's pretty in-depth fantasy novel, but I am really quite enjoying it. So I'm just intrigued to finish it and see how we conclude this world and what's going on with everybody. And then book 4 that I have picked to read in September is The Rose Society by Mary Lou, and this is the sequel to The Young Elites. Now, as I'm filming this video, I'm currently halfway through reading The Young Elites, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have decided that I just don't gel with Mary Lou's writing style. I've currently just read the Legend trilogy by Mary Lou, and I just couldn't connect with it. And sometimes when you read a book or a first series by an author, you never know if A, you just don't gel with that author, or B, it's just because it's that story. So I always, for the most part, unless I really, really absolutely loathe the book that I've read originally by them, always try to give an author a second chance, especially if they have other books that do have an interesting concept to me. So I did pick up The Young Elites because it's on my book series I want to read in 2024 challenge. So we do focus on our main character, Adelina. There was this like blood fever that went through their entire country. It killed a whole heap of adults, but it did also kill some children. but the children that did survive, they basically were physically, I don't want to say defect, but they kind of treat them like they're defected. Some people have really light eyes, their eye color changes, their hair color changes, and that's kind of their, I guess, their trait or symbol that they are a malfetto, which is what they call these children. Some of these malfettos also have special abilities and powers. There is a group called the Young Elites who do have the special powers, and they're basically raising hell in society. And this book is just going to continue on the story. I don't really know what's going on, except that she's probably going to be known as the White Wolf, because I've just read that on the back of the book, and there's a wolf on the cover. So it looks like she's set on revenge. So it looks like things haven't gone very well for her in the Young Elite story. I can't really comment much because I'm in the process of reading it, so that's all I know. In all honesty, I'm not anticipating that I'm going to enjoy it very much, just because I'm not enjoying the first one currently, but that just could be because I find it really boring when they explain what's going on in society and we're just training someone to have a special power, and maybe in this one we'll have some more interesting things going on. I'm interested to know who the Rose Society is, because we currently have the Dagger Society. I'm presuming the Rose Society is just another group of malfettos. But yeah, we're just going to read it to get it off all of these lists, essentially. And then the fifth and I guess final physical book that I have picked to read in the month of September is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibley and Austin Siegmund Brocker. Now, this is one of the books that I have left to read on the 24 books I want to read in 2024. It is also the last book by these two authors that I have on my bookshelf. I have read 3 of their novels so far this year. 2 were kind of duds. I have left this one purposely to be the last one that I read, because when I was reading over the blurbs, this is the one that sounded the least interesting to me. So we focus on Cameron. This is also a book that I do believe is set in, it's either going to be high school or college, but we're focusing on Cameron Bright. She is gorgeous and popular, but she's a total bitch. And no one really likes her. She doesn't realize that just because she's hot and pretty and popular, that doesn't excuse her for being a bitch. You still have to be nice to people, and she thinks that she can be horrible to people and get away with it. So basically she gets herself a new crush, Andrew, who is really put off, I guess, by the way that she acts and has no interest in her. She will do anything to win him over. So she's gonna change her personality to get the guy, and I just don't like that trope. In all honesty, I'm too old for it, and I'm just not interested in it. So she basically takes the form of a self-taming project from Shakespeare's most famous shrew, Catherine, and she wants to prove to Andrew that she's changed for the better, because if so, he's gonna give her another chance. That facing her flaws head on is no easy task, especially when making amends with a certain guy leads to complicated feelings. Has she been really mean to a boy and then has to make amends with him and then starts to actually fall for him and instead is no longer interested in Andrew? I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I am not about changing yourself for a guy. The only reason I may get behind this novel is if Cameron is legitimately a horrible, horrible person. In order, by changing herself, she actually becomes a nice person. Then I could get behind it, but honestly, this premise, I don't love it, so I'm not excited about it. We will see how I go with it. I don't have high hopes for this one either. I really just ended that on 2 books that I'm not stoked about, but I'm just reading to get them off my challenges, but that's fine. And then the 6th book that I would like to read in September if I get the chance. I'm not super fussed, but if I do manage to get through all of these, I would really love to pick up Wisteria by Adeline Grace. Hopefully I put a picture on the screen for you all. This is the 3rd and final book in the Belladonna series. The first book was Belladonna, then we had the sequel Foxglove. I read both of these books, I think it was July, but it may have been June. I really, really enjoyed them. I rated them both 4 stars. And the 3rd book did come out in August. I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. I am hoping to pick it up, but we are just going to be finishing this series. I'm really excited to see what happens with Signa and Death, because they have a bit of a relationship. Signa's a little bit of a reaper, and she's got really cool powers. Like, she can kill people by touching them if she wants, and she can also kind of cross over into the underworld and have a bit of a relationship with Death, but she sort of has to like kill herself in order to do that, but she always comes back to life. We then focus on these 2 other really interesting characters. One is Blythe. She is a human. She was being poisoned in the 1st book, and Signa helped save her life. Blythe was my favorite thing about the sequel Foxglove. I loved her. She is so sassy and aggressive for a woman in her time period that I'm so here for it. She's one of my favorite characters in that series, and I'm really excited about what is is going on with her story, because I made a guess about what I thought her plot line could be, found out I was wrong, but then found out at the end of Foxglove that I was actually correct. So I'm really excited to see that actually play out and what happens. And then we also have the fourth character, which is Fate, who is like a brother to Death. He's come into the picture. He kind of thinks that Signa is his long lost love life, and that's the reason why she can see Death. He has an issue with Death. We just have this third and final book, and I'm really excited to see how Adeline Grace finishes this series. I'm so excited to read it and to pick it up, but I don't really know what's going to happen in it because I haven't actually read the blurb, so I'm excited to go into this not really knowing what's going to happen and just see where it takes me. But I would really love to pick that one up in September if I do get the chance. Alrighty guys, they are, I guess, the 6 books that I would love to read in the month of September. If you have read like any of these books, please let me know your spoiler-free thoughts down in the comments, and also let me know what books you want to pick up in the month of September, and I will see you next week for my August reading wrap up. Bye guys.